Go.
Well, I am Erik Holst. I was a medical student, 21 years old, in 1951, and we were encouraged by the newly formed World Health Organization to create a formal association of medical students associations, because that was a precondition for the World Health Organization to collaborate with us. And so we went home, we gathered together a small group from 7 countries, and we decided to create IFMSA. I had thought always that we would make the World Medical Students Association to fit with the World Medical Association, but we had a German participant, and that was interesting. It was very shortly after the war. But this German medical student, he said, this is not an association. This is a federation of organizations. And then we said, okay, so what is it called? And then he said, International Federation of Medical Student Associations. And then we sighed deeply and said, okay, so be it. And an organization with such a name cannot survive. Nobody can remember IFMSA. This is impossible. And here we stand 60 years later, and somehow IFMSA has become the code word for bringing a lot of people together, an enormous amount of people together, who all seem to have as much fun as we had doing this 60 years ago. We were in an extremely big need after the war to get out there and see other people and so on. And I don't know how we managed to get, because we didn't have aeroplanes. We had to go by train. It took 30 hours to get to Paris. And when you arrived, you were completely black from the coal from the locomotive, yes, and from the engine. So that was the life at that time, and everything we had to write out. If we need 3 copies, we took 3 pieces of silk paper to put, and then carbon paper in between, and then whenever there was a mistake, we had to redo the whole thing, yes. But in spite of that, we managed, and what I still feel extremely interesting is that even at that first meeting in Copenhagen, where at that time we didn't have any statutes, so that's why I was only elected president a year later, when the statutes had been adopted. But what we did do immediately, we created a committee for professional exchange, and we called it SCOPE. When I'm here hearing everybody talk about SCOPE, but it was not SCOPE, it was SCOPE. This was the whole idea. This was the scope of what we were sitting there. We wanted to make sure that more medical students found out that there was a world outside their university, their city, their country. Yes, that was the purpose of this. And in the meantime, we had a lot of fun pushing people around. At that time, only inside Europe, but still, that was it. And what I see now is that people are just as enthusiastic, and they are doing it. They are spending a lot of time. But I have the suspicion that, which was true in our case, but I have when I was looking at these almost 1,000 medical students sitting there in the hall, I said, you don't know, but you are in fact training the future leaders of your national medical profession, because the people who learn to look outside, they come back with ideas, and people who have ideas, they are elected to functions, and that's it. So somehow there was an element of a spirit, and of course if we hadn't done it, somebody else would have done it the year later or somebody, but maybe we jumped over a lot of formalities and say, WHO say we have to do it, so we do it. And that was IFMSA.
Thank you so much.